everyone, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. I haven't uploaded a video in a couple weeks. But I wanted to share this really cool technique that I saw, and it's from another YouTuber. I'm gonna link, if I can find it, I'm gonna link her channel down below. A wealth of information. I learned so much, and this is just a really cool technique that I know that I'm going to be using in, just because I love adding color with paint and different and dyes and different things to my projects. So what I've got going here, this is the little design that I'm going to do. Really simple. It's a little sketch of this little water bird. This wonderful frame I did find at a garage sale, and it has a nautical theme to it, and you just clip a little picture right here. It has the rope on it, it has this cleat or whatever they're called, and then it just has a neat little worn wood look to it. So that's what I'm working with. And this is what this gal taught on this little YouTube video that I watched. She uses unbleached muslin, which has sizing in it, so you can tell it's stiffer. So it's unbleached, and this one that I got on Amazon, I'm going to link this also down below for you. It is a little thin, although it works fine for what kind of projects that I'm going to be doing. But, you know, be your own judge. You might want to get something a little bit heavier than this, if whatever you're working on. And then the next thing that I did was I added onto the back of my little thing. So this is going to get clipped on here. I put freezer paper on the back of this, and I just ironed that freezer paper on. Freezer paper does have that waxy side, which you can iron onto the back of your fabric, and it just makes a nice, stiffer, easier to work on type of it's just more like a stabilizer. So that's where I'm at right now. And because I've got this on the back of this, I am going to use my light box to trace this. And to trace it, I am just going to use my heat erase pen. This is just an inexpensive light box. Again, got it on Amazon, and I'll link it if I can find it. I've had mine for a while. Now you might ask, why would I put this on? Because I can see through this. I wouldn't even need a light box, but since I'm using a heat erase pen, if I were to do the tracing before I added it would all erase. Just, you know, just trust me, you want to do it like in this order. And notice how my frame has different colors here, and so is my little design. I'm just going to go ahead and trace this, and I'll be back. And now this is where the sizing really takes effect. Normally when you add like a watercolor, or I'm going to be using my Inktense blocks, but because they're more transparent, or they move, it's hard to control it from going someplace where you don't want it to go. But with the sizing, all you need to do is add water to the area that you want to color, and it won't seep beyond that where the water is. The sizing acts as a barrier, so it's just a really, like I said, it's a really cool technique. I'm going to wet with my little paintbrush just the sky part for right now, being careful not to wet the bird or the beak. I've got this whole top part wet now. I did add some washi tape or painter's tape, whatever you want. It has a tendency to curl, so that helps keep it flat. And now I have my Inktense blocks that I'm going to be using. This is, I'll show you what the outside cover looks like. This is the 36 blocks. But you can also use what you have. I would try it with just regular watercolor. Maybe you have even an inexpensive student grade watercolor set. If I were to do watercolor, I would probably, instead of using water, you could try using like a fabric medium, especially if you want to, wash it or whatever. Would not be washed, but anyway, that's a suggestion on that. And now I'm just going to wet my brush and pick up paint right off the block. And then I'm just going to drop it in, and it's going to move, but it's not going to move any further than where I've wet it. This is a different color. So you can kind of blend right on it. And it just has some real interesting, I don't know, just movement to it. By adding more water, you can really thin it out. I've got the sky done. Now I'm going to go on and do the sand. I don't want to do this because this is still wet. And if I were to wet this, it's all going to run. So I'm going to do this. I'm starting with just wetting it again like I did before, wetting in between the feet. And then I'm going to be using just a brown or a sand color to paint that or add the color to that. Because I've wet in between the feet, I'll be able to just dot in the color, and it's not going to go into the feet or into this other darker part of the sea or the lake. It is the next day and it's all completely dry. And notice how I must have accidentally gotten some water up on this part and wasn't super careful. And so the color did seep up. But if you're careful, you can really add a border to this. It's just, you can color it. Maybe you want to do a different offset color on it, just like a regular quilt border. I'm going to go ahead and finish some of this now. I'm going to do the beak and the feet in the same color, more of an orangey color. This is gray. And for the bird itself, I am going to use an acrylic, which is more opaque. Acrylic fabric paint I'm going to use for that. And I'll show you the one that I like to use. But on to doing the orange. I do want to add some white to the bird, and this is what I use. I will link it down below for you. It's just this big old jug of white fabric paint. I use it a lot when I stencil on my jeans and do different upcycled things. Just going to stick a little bit of it on. And then just fill in this part. My next step on this now, after I get the white on, is I will take it to my sewing machine. I'm going to make a sandwich. I'm going to put some quilt batting and a backing on it. And then I'm going to do some machine quilting on it. I'm just going to use free motion foot and add some detail with some thread. I did make my sandwich with the outer of the quilt batting and then a backing. And I cut the quilt batting and the backing a bit bigger, and that will be cut down to size after I stitched. I have my free motion foot on, and I have my feed dogs dropped, just a regular black all-purpose thread on right now, and I'm just outlining this bird, staying on that heat erase pan marking as much as I can. I do get off, but it's not perfect. I wanted to take a second and just talk a little bit about adding color to fabric. Now, the ink tints that I use, the blocks, are an ink, and they will actually penetrate the fiber, where a paint, like an acrylic paint, will stay on the top of the surface. And this sizing is just fun to work with because it allows you to play with the watercolor right on, and it won't seep into areas you don't want it to seep into. I really love the watercolor look, and that's why I added that water first, and then you can just mix them right on the surface, and I don't have to worry about it going someplace where I don't want it to go. Just putting up my bobbin thread there, and I'm just doing a little circle kind of to make it look like a sun in the sky. I changed my thread. I do have like a light blue thread for this sky part. After my sun, I'm just echoing that bird, just kind of doing that bird shape and just getting smaller and smaller. And again on this side too, I'm just going to just draw around the shape and echo that beak. And I love quilting the background but leaving the bird unquilted, so it's like puffy, it just stands out. I did change my thread again. This is like a darker blue thread, and I'm just doing a motion that looks like the sea. I don't know, like a ripple in the sea, so I'm doing more of a horizontal stitching. And then I'm going to be changing my color one more time, my thread, to a khaki color or a sand looking color, and just doing a really tiny circle, little, I don't know, meander stitch there. On to trimming, and just trimming off that batting and backing and leaving that border on there. I just think that's so cute. And then to finish this off, I decided just to add jute. First getting rid of my heat erase pen, just ironing that and just get all those marks off of there. And there's the backing, but here's that jute. You can see I tied a knot in each corner and then just zigzagged over the jute. I thought that really complements this frame because the frame also has that rope on it. Really fun. I hope you enjoyed this, everybody. I hope you have a chance to create and be able to use this technique. It's really a lot of fun. Bye for now.